Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
Less than 4 hours after he shot and killed stranded motorist Corey Jones, then Officer Nouman Raja was recorded on video walking investigators along the scene beside an I-95 off-ramp. The following video from October 18, 2015 was recently released to the South Florida Sun-Sentinel.
And as I was coming here and everything, I saw this vehicle stopped here, didn't see anybody inside, nothing. And I called out, I believe, on the radio. And I said that I've got I thought it was a disabled vehicle on the side of the road or an abandoned vehicle. So I saw this vehicle and everything, and I was like, okay, I've got this vehicle on the side of the road, and I'm gonna check out with it, make sure everything's okay. I didn't think there was anybody in there, and as I got close to the vehicle, and the door swung open, and this guy jumps out, and I immediately got out of the van, and he's like, I'm okay, man. And at which point I said, hey man, police, can I help you? And the second I said police, he jumped back. And I clearly remember him drawing and pointing a gun at me. I saw that silver muzzle, and he had, I can swear on this, he had a Laser Max laser in the guide rod in the gun. And I saw that red light of that Laser Max flashing at me. And I immediately just shouted, drop the gun, and sorry.
It's like, take a deep breath.
I remember pulling the trigger, I think 2 to 3 times, and he started running. And as he was running, I had my cell phone, and I dialed, and I still remember putting my code in, and just like this, I had the gun, and I'm keeping an eye on this guy, and I put my code in, dialed 911, and I called dispatch right away, because my radio was in the van. And the whole time, I'm like giving them commands, I'm yelling, screaming at him, I'm like, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun! I remember clearly seeing this, the gun was right here. I remember seeing it above the door level, and it was in this area right here, pointing at directly at me. This is where I grabbed my phone, and I started running after him, with my gun still pointing in his direction, screaming, and I was on 911, I was yelling, I was like, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs. That's when he did the spin. And I was yelling, I was like, drop the gun, drop the gun. And I saw him go like this. And I remember saying to myself, aim. I still remember, and I was like, aim! And I put that front sight right in his center mass, and I squeezed, I believe 2 rounds. At that point, it's like, he knows I'm a cop. I identified myself. This guy's trying to kill me, and I didn't want to die.
This summer, Raja will face a trial on manslaughter and attempted first-degree murder counts. His lawyers are seeking to get the charges dropped under a stand-your-ground self-defense claim. For the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, I'm Emma Kate Austin.
Hours after he shot and killed local drummer Corey Jones were front and center in court Monday.
Under Florida's new Stand Your Ground law, prosecutors now must prove to a judge that a defendant did not fear for their life before such a case can go to trial.
That's what's happening now in the high-profile case of a former Palm Beach Gardens police officer charged with killing a stranded driver on an I-95 off-ramp. Covering this important hearing for us today is News Channel 5's Alyssa Haymans. Alyssa?
Michael, Kelly, court just wrapped up about 5-10 minutes ago. It's not clear if the defense still has a few witnesses to call tomorrow morning, but then it will be the state's turn. And remember, it is really on them to prove their case.
This roadside call and this video walkthrough showing former officer Nouman Raja hours after he shot and killed local drummer Corey Jones were front and center in court Monday.
I immediately said, hey man, police, can I help you?
It was the first day of Raja's Stand Your Ground hearing.
He was in fear of imminent death or great bodily harm.
The defense trying to prove that Raja shot Corey Jones because he feared for his own life, calling multiple witnesses to the stand, including a forensic audio expert who analyzed that roadside call, testifying that it was possible that Raja did identify himself as an officer.
And again, you don't know what words were spoken by the voice that you're unable to identify.
Yes, that's correct.
So the word could have been police.
Could be.
But the state prosecutors bared the burden and claimed the only person who had the right to fear for their life was Corey Jones.
He was standing his ground when he faced an aggressive individual charging at him, armed, in the middle of the night.
The crux of their argument that Raja, who was in plain clothes driving an unmarked vehicle, never identified himself as an officer. And that's why Corey, who was waiting for a tow truck, grabbed his gun for protection.
There was no identification by the defendant in this case. They can say there was, but there's no actual proof that he identified himself.
And as I mentioned, court did just wrap up. We were able to talk to some of Corey Jones's family after court tonight. Obviously, this was a very emotional day for them.
Well, it's very hurting, you know, and sad, you know. That's basically all I really have to say, you know. It's just a disgrace.
And court will start back up tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Reporting live tonight from the courthouse, Alyssa Hyman, WPTV News Channel 5.
Change in state.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use, and also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.